Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, December 2nd, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, unofficially signed with SmackDown. Welcome, one and all. You know you can check me out on the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Facebook and YouTube. Charismatic_Creations 52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And today's show, well, seeing as how we got the Continental Classic going down, I think we would participate in fantasy booking the Women's Continental Classic. I'm very, very excited for the show. I got some really good ideas for what to do with the Women's Continental Classic, if there ever is one. But for now, you know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. All right. This list is really quite simple. Since we got the Continental Classic, we're going to fantasy book a women's one. These are 5 women outside of the AEW roster who I would like to see in the Continental Classic. Number 5, Deonna Purrazzo. Ever since being released from the WWE and making her way over to Impact/TNA, she has solidified herself as one of the best technical wrestlers on the planet between both the men and the women. She is an absolutely outstanding talent. I am a big fan of Deonna Purrazzo and her in-ring work. And she's wrestled one time in AEW. It was in the main event of a random Dynamite where she dropped the Ring of Honor Women's Championship to Mercedes Martinez. But I would love to see her in this tournament just to bring that technical skill to the tournament, because I don't think the women's division in AEW has a lot of technically skilled wrestlers. Number 4, Jordynne Grace, Little Mama Pump, another woman in TNA/Impact who has done it all at this point, and you could always use more horses. More importantly, I would love to see her versus Chris Statlander. Lord, I would die for that match. A true powerhouse in and of herself. Jordynne Grace would bring another dimension to this tournament. Number 3, soon to be free agent, Julia. Julia is one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet. She grinded and blew up, and now she is a very, very sought after talent, carrying New Japan, participating with Stardom, and just being a really, really good champion. We're excited to see where she's going to sign. I'm hoping it's with AEW, not the WWE, but Julia is such a special talent that she would have to be in this tournament. Number 2, Camille. I believe she is close to being a free agent, but this is another powerhouse in the women's world of wrestling. And last time I checked, she was the longest reigning NWA women's champion. Yeah. Dominance. She kind of flies under the radar. She is someone who has made a really, really good name for herself, and essentially just does it. It's just good. I'm mistaken. She is not the longest reigning women's champion. She is one of the longest reigning women's champions, but she is held in such high esteem and regard when it comes to the women's division that you kind of have to get her in this tournament. I mean, she's held the championship alongside legends like Bambi, Mildred Burke, Jazz, Amazing Kong, Thunder Rosa. Like, she has made a name for herself and really should be in this tournament. Number 1, of course, none other than Mercedes Moné. Yes, the former Sasha Banks is the name. She is the name on the market when it comes to women's wrestling. She is the name that brings eyes to your product. She is the name that puts butts in the seats. If you really, really want to solidify yourself, solidify your tournament, you have to have Mercedes Moné. And I don't need to go over her accolades and her accomplishments. They speak for themselves. I don't need to speak about her in-ring ability. It speaks for itself. Mercedes Moné needs to be in this tournament. We'll be right back. The spotlight is on a wrestler who I am a giant fan of. That's Willow Nightingale. She is another individual who is special, who just has it. I've watched her grow into a tremendous wrestler, into a tremendous talent, and I think it's time to do her justice, to serve her, to give her that spotlight. She put on a banger of a match against Athena, I believe, at last year's final battle, and it's time to see her elevated alongside the likes of Sky Blue, alongside the likes of Julia Hart. Willow Nightingale is a fan favorite. She is someone you can truly get behind, and a tournament like the Continental Classic would allow her to shine, would allow her to get over even more with the audience, and when she comes out on the other side as someone you can build your division around. I love Willow Nightingale, and I think you should too. All right, let's do it. The Continental Classic, AEW's first ever Continental Classic, is going down right now with the men. And you know me, I love women's wrestling, and I think it's time we can fantasy book the women's Continental Classic. But first things first, what is the Continental Classic? Well, it's AEW's answer to the G1 tournament. Every year around this time, New Japan Pro Wrestling hosts their G1 tournament. It's a round-robin tournament with the winner getting a IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match at Wrestle Kingdom. So, seeing as how Bryan Danielson was supposed to be in the G1, got injured, and can't be in the G1, Tony Khan just made the Continental Classic, and I don't fault him for it. Tournaments, especially round-robin tournaments, are absolutely amazing. So, with the Continental Classic, we have two groups, a blue league and a gold league with 6 wrestlers in it each. There's a 20-minute time limit. 3 points are awarded for a win, 1 for a draw, 0 for a loss. No one is allowed at ringside. Violation of this rule may result in a 1-point deduction. The top 2 wrestlers from each group progress to the league finals on the 27th edition of December 27th episode of Dynamite, with the 2 group winners advancing to the championship match final at World's End, with the winner becoming the inaugural Triple Crown champion, which is the Continental Classic champion, the New Japan Openweight Strong champion, and the Ring of Honor World champion. I'm not really fond of that idea, but I digress. So, first things first, on the Women's Continental Classic that I'm hoping one day we get, but I doubt we'll ever get it because Tony Khan doesn't really like women's wrestling. We're still waiting to get more than one match on Dynamite. We're still waiting to get multiple women's storylines on the same show, which he's actually gotten better with, because right now, if you look at the women's division, we have what's going on with Saraya and Ruby. We have Mariah May with Tony Storm, and we have Julia Hart, Sky Blue, Willow, Chris. So we've got storylines, but now we need the multiple matches. And I point to Tony Khan's beautiful booking of Athena and Billy Starks. Months long stories that will have a payout, and we can do that. So let's get into the participants. So for the participants of the Women's Continental Classic. So first things first, I think you announce the Women's Continental Classic after the men's. So you present them the winner, on the stage and you say, here's the Women's Continental Classic, and you introduce your first 2 participants, 1 from each league. So in the Gold League, you have your newest AEW signing, Mercedes Moné. Bam, your tournament is already solidified. Boom. Representing the Blue League, a returning Thunder Rosa. Bam, solidified again. Now you have 2 of the top names of women's wrestling competing in your tournament. Filling out the rest of the tournament will be Athena, Billy Starks, Hikaru Shida, Chris Statlander, Mariah May, Nyla Rose, Taya Valkyrie, and Willow Nightingale. So I like that group. Now, there are other names that I thought about who should be in it, and I wanted a good group of women that could help put on a solid show. Now, no Anna Jay, even though I think she probably could. She would be an alternate Anna Jay. No Diamante. I don't want Britt is the big name not in this, and I excluded her because I wanted other women who truly haven't had a time to shine, even though Shida, Stat are in here. They've always played second fiddle to Britt. I didn't want Amy Sakura in here because I didn't want her taking losses after loss, even though the matches be bangers. Jamie Hayter isn't healthy. Julia Hart is your TBS champion. No Kiera Hogan. No Madison Rain is hurt. And the big name, the 2 names that I went back and forth on, actually the 3 names that I went back and forth on being in this tournament were Penelope Ford, Red Velvet, and Ruby Soho. Ty Mello's out. She just had a baby. But Penelope, Velvet, and Soho were the names where, like, I kind of want them in, especially Penelope Ford. She's an amazing talent, and I don't know if she truly really wants to wrestle this consistently. And Red Velvet just came back from injury, and Ruby Soho, like, for me, if I had Ruby in here, I felt like I would have to have her win. So let's go over the leagues. Representing the Gold League, Billy Starks, Mercedes Moné, Athena, Nyla Rose, and Chris Statlander. Now, I had this league set up for a specific reason. I wanted to keep the powerhouses together to build up that Hoss fight, and I wanted a good grouping of wrestlers where you won't really get a bad match out of the bunch. And I got Billy in here for the upset potential, and we'll dive into that just a little bit later. So, the Gold League looks good. Mercedes is the clear front runner alongside, in my opinion, Chris Statlander. And then in the Blue League, we have Thunder Rosa, Willow Nightingale, Hikaru Shida, Mariah May, and Taya Valkyrie. Now, this one is, I think you can say, a toss-up, because you have Rosa, Willow, Shida, and Valkyrie. All great talents that can win. Mariah's the wild card. I think she's in this tournament to impress Toni Storm. So we have some strengths when it comes to power with Thunder Rosa, Willow, and Taya. Shida is the bona fide right here where you're like, don't bet against Shida. So how does the matches play out? So with the Gold League, we have, ready for this, we have our matchups. Billy Starks going up against Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné wins that. I'm sorry, Billy defeats Mercedes Moné in an upset. You're thinking Mercedes, the veteran, dominant, should beat this upstart. No. Upset. Billy also defeats Athena, defeating her former mentor, and I'm using this as a way to say get her revenge for Athena. I'm defeating her and retaining the women's championship at Final Battle. Billy also loses to Nyla Rose, and I think this is where you go, oh, Billy might be in over her head. I think Nyla dominates that match. And then we have Billy versus Chris Statlander in another shocking upset. So Billy ends her run with 9 points. Mercedes Moné loses to Billy, defeats Athena, defeats Nyla, and defeats Chris. And after that first loss to Billy, she just goes on a roll. She ends with 9 points. Athena loses to Billy, loses to Mercedes, defeats Nyla, and loses to Chris. Nyla loses to Billy, Mercedes, Athena, and Chris. So Athena and Nyla both end with 3 points. Obviously, they don't make the finals. And then Chris Statlander loses to Billy, loses to Mercedes, defeats Athena, and defeats Nyla, and she ends her run with 6 points. So that's a good little grouping right there. So our finals in the Gold League is Billy Starks versus Mercedes Moné. Shocking, right? It's good storytelling. I think you can use this as a platform to help elevate Billy Starks because she's earned it. She's really, really rightfully earned it. In the Blue League, Thunder Rosa, Willow Nightingale, Hikaru Shida, Mariah May, and Taya Valkyrie. So Thunder Rosa is just dominant. She's a woman on a mission, and she defeats Willow, Shida, Mariah, and Taya Valkyrie, ending with 12 points total. Willow loses to Thunder Rosa, but ends up defeating Shida, Mariah May, and Taya Valkyrie. She ends her run with 9 points. And then Shida, Mariah May, and Taya Valkyrie all end their runs with 3 points. And their matches are really, really hard fought. Shida has it, and there's one slip up. And Mariah's only victory comes against Taya Valkyrie, and Taya's only victory comes against Shida. And Shida's only victory comes against Mariah May. And it's okay. Shida can take the loss. And Mariah is out here to prove herself to Toni Storm. And Taya, you use this to fully make her unhinged. Okay? So we end the Blue League with the finals being Thunder Rosa versus versus Willow Nightingale. So, Billy versus Mercedes. How do you think this is going to turn out? How do you really think this is going to turn out? Mercedes defeats Billy Starks. Billy puts up a fight, puts up a valiant effort, and does everything she can to defeat Mercedes Moné. We got a lot of good near falls, a lot of kickouts, and Mercedes just can't put her away. But finally, she locks in, let's just call it the bank statement, forcing Billy Starks to tap, and Mercedes shows Billy some respect. And then on the other side, Thunder Rosa, Willow Nightingale, something that I'd be so happy to see. Thunder Rosa dominated her entire league, and why not? If you can defeat Willow one more time. But Willow, with that power, positivity, that upbeat attitude, ends up defeating Thunder Rosa. So we have a finals of Mercedes Moné versus Willow Nightingale. And this is a rematch of the finals for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship, which Willow defeated Mercedes for. So Mercedes is a woman on a mission to defeat Willow. That right there sells itself. That right there tells you everything you need to know about this tournament. How does this match play out? How does it go? Well, Willow wins again. Yeah, Willow will defeat Mercedes again, and that puts Mercedes on an even bigger mission to defeat Willow. She's got to do something. She's got to figure it out. Why can't she defeat this girl? And Willow Nightingale goes and gets her women's championship match against, let's say Toni Storm is still champion, and defeats Toni Storm for the women's AEW Women's World Championship. I like that. I like this grouping. How does it play out? 2 episodes on Dynamite. 2 episodes of Collision, 1 on Rampage. You can switch it back and forth. Even, let's say you still don't want, Tony Khan still doesn't want to put 2 women's matches on Dynamite. You put 2 on Collision, you put 2 on Rampage, and you make the matches great. And you say, wow, I have to watch this. You say, wow, I see what they're doing here. I see what they're all about. And that's how you do it. That's how you do the Women's Continental Classic. Let me know what you guys think. I am excited. I'm hoping one day we can get this and it can become an annual thing. I love the grouping of women, and hopefully we could open it up to outsiders. But that is our show. Thank you as always for listening. Next week's episode, we have the worst of wrestling in 2023. Yeah. Don't forget to check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course, the 215 on Twitter. And as always, Bailey, Isla Dawn, Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, and Gigi Dolan. Holla at your boy. Peace.